There's growing demand for our bigger businesses to be more transparent and provide more information about how they're considering the risks and opportunities of climate change. New Zealand was one of the first countries in the world to pass legislation that makes it mandatory for our large companies to consider and publicly disclose the effects the climate may have on their business, as well as the effects their business is having on the climate. These disclosures are called climate statements, and they'll appear within annual reports or as a standalone publication 4 months after the end of a business's financial year. This legislation is designed to bring climate resilience into the heart of financial and business decision-making and to ensure climate issues are routinely considered in business and investment decisions. Because these requirements are mandatory, through the process of considering and disclosing climate information, businesses will be able to better show responsibility and foresight in their consideration of climate issues. And because the disclosures will be publicly available, investors and other users of the climate statements will be able to make more informed decisions about where to allocate their money, with the aim of helping to smooth the transition to a low-emissions economy. The requirements apply to around 200 companies in New Zealand, known as climate reporting entities. They include our big banks, fund managers, insurers, and the bigger companies listed on the stock exchange. Entities are required to report on 4 main pillars of their business, which includes the role their governance body and senior management play in assessing, managing, and overseeing climate risks and opportunities, how they identify, assess, and manage climate-related risks as part of the risk management pillar. The strategy pillar requires businesses to consider and disclose how climate change is currently impacting them and how it might do so in the future. Finally, the metrics and targets pillar shows how a business measures and manages its climate-related risks and opportunities, including greenhouse gas emissions. Climate statements must be supported by appropriate records and have independent assurance on greenhouse gas emission disclosures. The FMA's role is to ensure that information in the statements is disclosed in accordance with the legal requirements and standards, and that it can be substantiated and isn't misleading. As long as these criteria are met, the FMA is not the judge of how well a business is performing. Instead, it is up to the business ecosystem and investors to be able to rely on the information disclosed and act on what they've learnt. And while the FMA is taking a broadly educative and constructive approach to the new rules, misleading disclosures or failure to report will attract enforcement action. We'll begin by issuing high-level guidance on compliance expectations before moving to a proactive regulatory role as the regime becomes more established. For more about the new climate-related disclosures regime, check out our website at fma.govt.nz.